Nivaleth. The wind kept getting stronger and the rain was whipping straight into their faces. Dusty's mushroom-shaped hairstyle had turned into a stylish permanent wave, while Perry's nose had frozen into an icicle. "I think we have no choice but to take shelter for a while until the rain eases up a bit, Hachi!" Perry shouted to his pony. They settled for the moment under a huge green leaf. "Good thing the leaves in this region are so big," said Perry, and noticed that Dusty was busy nibbling a small hole into the corner of one of the leaves. "And that they're so tasty," he replied playfully. "There's truly no better friend than you in a situation like this. You always make me laugh, no matter what happened around us." Perry praised him and stroked his pony's wet mane. Dusty smiled and gently nudged his cheek with his pink nostrils. Slowly, the rain eased enough for them to continue their journey. The forest floor was very muddy, and they had to be careful not to slip. "Are we still going the right way?" Dusty asked a little uncertainly. The forest grew denser and darker. "Hachi! I think so," Perry replied and coughed slightly. It was definitely time for a break, or at least a hot drink. Just as they had climbed over a huge old tree trunk, both heard a loud rustling coming from the dense undergrowth. It sounded very eerie. "Oh, what is that?" Dusty asked, worried, and stepped behind Perry. "I'm sure it's nothing dangerous," Perry answered reassuringly, although he had to admit it was a very loud rustling for a forest inhabited only by small animals. "Hello, is somewhere there?" Perry called into the thicket. No answer came back, only a loud stomping sound, and apparently someone was moving directly toward them. The wet ground vibrated lightly beneath their feet. Dusty wobbled and nearly slipped if Perry hadn't caught him. Then a huge creature emerged from the bushes. Perry wiped the rainwater from his eyes and realized, astonished, that it was a gigantic caterpillar standing before them. She was 10 times bigger than Dusty, and the remarkable thing was that her entire body was colorful. Yes, she looked as though someone had sewn her together from many bright scraps of fabric. But most striking of all were the many tiny hairs covering her entire body, glowing with the same turquoise light as the mushrooms. Perry looked into her large black eyes, which observed him with calmness and curiosity. "Hello," he greeted the giant creature. "Good evening. What brings you into this forest on such a rainy night? You're completely soaked?" the caterpillar asked with a warm, motherly voice. "Oh, how kind you to ask. Our destination is actually the great treehouse city, but we got lost because of a small incident," Perry explained, his voice slightly hoarse. "Oh, so you both got lost. And if I'm not mistaken, you have a cold, my dear friend?" The city is still 2 hours from here. However, the storm has only just begun. The rain will pick up again in a few minutes. May I offer you a place to spend the night in my humble home and brew you a healing drink for your sniffles? The caterpillar asked warmly. Perry was endlessly grateful for her offer and replied, "That would be truly a great help. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Perry Armstrong." He bowed deeply. "And I'm Dusty, his funny companion," the pony added, and bowed as well. The caterpillar smiled. "What delightful names you both have. My name is Noara, Noara the furry. Come, climb on. I'll take you to my home." With those words, she lowered her head toward the ground so Perry and Dusty could climb up. "My dear lady, are you quite sure we, especially I, are covered in mud?" Perry said. "Don't worry, my dear Perry. All dirt will simply roll off my skin. It's like a kind of water seal, you see," Noara replied kindly. That convinced Perry, and once again he was amazed by the extraordinary abilities of the creatures in Nivaleth. At first it was difficult for Dusty to find a secure place on her back, but with Perry's help he eventually managed to sit comfortably and safely. When Perry had also climbed up, Noara slowly began to move and walked with large, heavy steps through the forest. Perry gently stroked her colorful, smooth skin. It felt like a balloon, only softer. The mud rolled off perfectly, and Perry felt boundless enthusiasm. The ride swayed a little, but both passengers found it pleasant. "This is the first time I've ridden a caterpillar, and I'm having a great time," Dusty announced, and sniffed curiously at one of the long hairs. "Achoo! I enjoy this as well," Perry said happily, and pulled a floral handkerchief from his pocket to dry his fringe. "It makes me very happy that you both feel so comfortable on board. You know, I'm also known in this forest as the caterpillar rickshaw. It happens quite often that I ferry travelers on my back," Noara explained cheerfully. "That's wonderful. What a great help to us and many wanderers. May I ask you how you came to this wonderful activity?" Perry asked curiously. Noara told them that at first it had only been frogs that she carried. And summer nights she usually slept outdoors, and often a frog would accidentally settle on her. When she awoke and stood up, the frogs usually stayed sitting. Before long, they discovered how delightful it was to be carried around through the forest on her back, especially in bright sunshine. That was how the caterpillar rickshaw had invented itself. Little by little, as the other forest inhabitants noticed, birds, cute hedgehogs, colorful butterflies, and even owls joined in. Eventually, she also brought travelers to their destinations. One could see that Noara loved her little job as a rickshaw.